Killing Eve, episode 3, season 2. Sorry we're late to watching this, but we've just seen it. And how are you finding it going, generally?
Loving it.
We hated the first episode.
No, I didn't hate it. No, you
I
keep
did.
saying that.
No,
I
did.
Oh, I thought you said we.
Yeah, no, I did.
I didn't hate it. It was just a bit meh. It was a bit...
Yeah, meh.
Yeah, but I didn't hate it.
But meh is worse than hating it, really, I think. I'd rather a show was hated. But anyway, I thought this was great. This one started with Constantine. Do you remember? Constantine's back. He's so lovely, isn't he?
Charismatic.
His face. Who does he
Epitomises
doesn't he?
charisma.
I don't know what I want to do with his face. I don't know if I want to
Reminds me a
kiss
bit
it,
of my dad sometimes.
cuddle it, hug it, buff it up and shine it. I don't know what I want
I
to
love
do.
how devilish he is.
Yes, mischievous. He's mischief, isn't he? He's mischief personified. That's how I'd like to get old, with a beard and hair, but you hate beards. So the first...
Quite like a white beard, though.
Do you? Like Jim, my friend Jim had a white beard. That's nice. I loved their initial conversation where they were talking about... Were they talking about Villanelle? And he said she was like the hungry caterpillar.
Yeah.
I thought that analogy
And when
was
she
brilliant.
Eve says...
He gives
Are
her-
you talking about the hungry
Yeah.
caterpillar?
Yeah, he
Because
says
he doesn't
she
say
eats
it.
through things. She
Like
goes,
that
"The thing."
children's storybook.
Yeah.
I love those moments,
Yeah.
those psychopathic moments when with Villanelle as well, when they show those.
Well, where they're fumbling for analogies or metaphors.
So they use something sweet.
Yeah,
that
and they
is
use
such a
something really
contradiction
romantic.
to the fact that they're sociopaths.
Yeah, and that's best personified in Villanelle's smile, which whenever she delivers it is just quite astonishing, because you think there's got to be a limited range of smiles she can do.
Yeah.
Like there must be a limited range of accents she can do.
No, I don't think so.
And there never is.
I think what's wonderful about this series and what we're starting to see now as we move through the episodes is that they have written for her now.
Yeah.
They are using her full repertoire. And a lot of people on social media have said that they've binge watched the whole lot, and it's just amazing.
Right.
So I'm really excited, and I loved this episode.
Well, I thought the first death in this was absolutely remarkable, and if I decide to become a psychopath, which could happen in years to come, she grabs his tie through the elevator door and just holds it.
It's her phenomenal strength, isn't it? And what I can't wait to find out is what happened to her, because she taps into the loathing.
I know I know what you mean, and that's the
She
sort of...
has alluded to it in interviews.
What, that they reveal it?
That we're going to see more, and also that some horrific things happen.
See, sometimes I think there is that idea that, like with superheroes, the origin story, it's all about the origin story. But sometimes I find not knowing is like a book. You're left to just construct these things.
I don't think we'll know exactly, but like there's a moment with oh God, what's his name? The white-haired man.
Constantine.
With Constantine, when he said you aimed for my heart, and she
Yes.
said, like you taught me.
Yes.
And so we know that there's a really toxic relationship there. How much of a part did he play in the manipulation of her?
Yes.
And the demise in her?
Yes.
And obviously we know she was kept in that terrible Russian prison.
Yes.
Well, can you imagine everything that happened in there?
Yeah.
So,
But I like the fact that they've introduced this, obviously, in the second episode. We've got this narrative of this new girl in town. We assume she's a new girl in town. And they're sort of using this new girl in town who's killing people to torment Villanelle. And
such a great name. Why do
is.
people start calling their children Villanelle?
God, only if they think they're psychotic. But yeah, I didn't know whether that was going to be a bit eggy, because I could see that coming with the murder in the second episode, and I thought, wow, how are they going to play this? It's a bit obvious. She gets a bit jealous.
I was a bit worried about that. God, we were both silently worried about the same thing.
both silently worried about the same thing. I feel like I'm about to have a heart attack if I expire
He
on
just
camera.
did a half-hour workout with weights.
I'm struggling to regain my breath.
Took a double espresso.
Just a minute ago, and I'm thinking, this is Nadia's way to kill me.
Why don't you drink some more water?
This is a bit like Villanelle. Let me just get my enormous drink.
Yeah, so it was great. The strangling with the tie was something else. And I loved the bit when the squished sound, and then her smile.
I wish she walked away. I like the way her wigs are really bad when she's in disguise. I think it's on purpose. Do you know what I mean? She looks like she's in disguise.
Because I think part of that is because her disguises used to be perfection.
Yeah.
And I think what it is she needs to be close to the edge. The way she comes up behind Eve.
She almost wants to be caught.
Yeah, it's like, almost catch me because you won't.
Yeah. That's almost like the thrill of S&M. Not that I know that, but I hear that. I hear that that's what Nadia does in dungeons.
Why'd you have to say things like that?
So then we've got Eve's homing in. We've got Villanelle's homing in on Eve's husband. Who I thought, this was the first week I quite liked Eve's husband. I thought he was underplaying it for a change. I thought he was a bit eggy in previous episodes, but I thought at the school and...
He has got a very difficult part.
He has.
He's with the big star,
yeah,
the big American star,
yeah,
Eve. I don't know the actress's name.
Sandra Oh.
Sandra Oh. And I'm imagining it as an actor playing opposite her because she's doing something very, very weird. Very weird with her performance.
I'm not entirely convinced.
I'm just thinking if she came with that character so in place with him, how was that on the first day of rehearsals?
Yes.
Because it's difficult to get in there because it's very like, it's 1 minute it's this sort of arched like we're almost in pantomime or restoration comedy almost, and then the next second it's quite real. So I think that'd be very difficult to get your hands around as the actor playing opposite.
I think you're absolutely spot on, but you saying that sort of earmarks my major kind of stumbling block with the whole thing because I'm enjoying it and I'm liking it. And I can feel the cleverness of the plot, and I love all the other subsidiary characters. Fiona Shaw is just every scene she's in, she's eminently watchable. I know.
More of her.
And she delivers a line later, which I'll say again because I just thought it was so simple and funny and effective. But I'm struggling with Sandra Oh. If I have a problem,
I think the thing is with Sandra Oh, it's like, look at what Villanelle is doing. Look at what Jodie Comer is doing. She's so brilliant. I mean, what she's doing is so clever as an actress. She is going to be our greatest shining light. She's going to be our Judi Dench.
Well, I mean, she may never get a role like this again, though. So
I think people will write for her. She's the sort of actress that writers would get excited.
Yes.
I mean, there'll be movies now being talked about all over the place. So, and what she does is this arched thing, but she keeps it within authenticity. And all comedy is funniest when it's real. If you just tip it over just the slightest bit, and I think Sandra Oh sometimes misses the bullet, the target. I like a lot of the stuff she does around it, but sometimes for me, it's just a bit too much.
When she's incidental in a scene, and I don't mean incidental, but when she's supporting a scene with an ensemble, she's very strong. When the action isn't homing in on her response to what's going on, she's very strong. As soon as she's placed centre frame, centre stage, and it's almost a sort of a conceit that surrounds her looking through a door or looking at something, it becomes a bit... Again, now, here's my theory on it.
I think she's trying too hard to be kooky.
Yeah, I know, I agree. But I'll tell you why,
kooky,
and I'll tell you why I think that's happening. What do you think, guys? I'll tell you why I think that's happening. I think in the first series, Sandra Oh was the big star from America, and this was the vehicle for Sandra Oh. Jodie Comer has flown through and just wowed everyone. And I think Sandra Oh is approaching this series a little bit like she feels she has to somehow match Jodie Comer's performance.
They feel it's competition. Is that all about Eve?
Because if you think about it, absolutely. But if you think about it, where that's confusing her performances, that's also in the script because they're competing with each other on another level. So it's like that's bled into Sandra Oh's performance because there's a self-consciousness that I'm struggling with Sandra Oh. So there are moments where I look at it and I go, I'm a bit cringy.
Yeah,
I'm a bit cringy.
It's what they call in the acting world.
In the trade.
It's called mannered. So you know exactly how the response is going to be. Whereas Jodie Comer, and we're doing it now because we're putting them in competition, but what else can we do?
No, I'm just trying
She's never mannered.
No.
You everything is a surprise. There is nothing.
Absolutely.
I would imagine it's a nightmare being on screen with Jodie Comer.
Oh, kind of, yeah.
She's so good.
But here's the thing: there was a scene towards it's not in parts, but I really liked the first scene. So there's a fly trying to land on my God. This is like every single thing trying to hamper me here. I have to put this over my food. I loved the scene between Constantine and Fiona Shaw, where Fiona Shaw was up for a bit of a romantic chat and a sort of a bit of a flirty moment in her conservatory. And he just wanted to know where the hell his family was.
But I love the opening of that scene, and that's what we can't miss.
What?
They're howling with laughter.
Yes.
And oh my God, how real was that laughter?
Oh, I know.
And the wine, and the wine was... Who was the wine made by? The wine was made by the vineyard of somebody a really sort of ordinary comedian or actor. I just thought it was
Sam Neill.
Oh, it wasn't. It was an actor, Sam Neill.
Yeah,
when she says from Jurassic. It's those moments that I love so much that it just makes this series so unique.
I could watch Fiona Shaw and the actor who plays Constantine chat about everyday life. Anything. I just want to be invited to a restaurant and watch them talk.
I love the way she's so charming and all-encompassing, and then she will go as hard as nails, and when he's begging for the safe house of his family. So he shows us that actually he's less of a psychopath than Fiona Shaw, because when he says to Fiona Shaw, how would you feel if it was your son? She said, I'd be okay with it.
And I thought that was
if he was okay.
Yes,
she did
if he was
say.
okay.
If I knew he was safe.
But I think that's another nice... what I like about the series at the moment is throwing in other little narrative sort of lines and arcs. So Constantine's desire for his family is really going to start rubbing up against his relationship with Villanelle, because they get back together in some kind of strange way.
Content rich.
It is content
rich. You never just go in and out of a scene just being told something. There's always
many
opening up little envelopes and you go, let me have a look in.
Which is why I'm kind of hoping Sandra Oh is still jockeying to get herself sort of settled in, and we've got 4 or 5 more episodes, so I'm hoping she just needs to get more comfortable with it. She seems a bit too self-aware. I loved, shout out to the actress who played, as Nadia always says, playing the smaller parts is always tough. But the teaching assistant colleague of Eve's husband, she was so good. Not only the scene where she was liaising with the wife.
The first scene, which just banged straight in, a bit pissed with Sandra Oh. I love your hair. I love your dress.
Good. I love that.
Didn't we love that dress that Sandra Oh had on?
Yeah, no, it was nice actually. I love the way she was sort of falling all over Pythagoras. That was kind of cool. And then the scene on the stairs where Villanelle is trying to kind of massage her into, wooing Eve's husband. So I loved all of that. Can I just make a shout out? I loved the style. I really liked how this series was shot, the first series. I like how it's shot in this series. Can I just make a suggestion to any of the people in post? You're over defocusing the background. I'm a big fan of shot focus and out of focus in the background, but it looks like an Instagram bloody lens.
You said it looks like somebody's using an app.
It looks like someone's using Instagram. There's lenses that do it, and you can then artificially defocus the background. And for me, there's too much going on where they've clearly marked it out around their heads to go for a look. It's frustrating the hell out of me because it doesn't feel natural. And I thought the first series, it was all done very naturally.
We don't need the tricks, really,
No. And the colour palette's lovely, the camera work's lovely, and just
when you say the colour palette, do you mean
the primary colours? They've graded it so that obviously psychopathy. You're going to push the reds, the purples, the dark greens, the true blues.
It's interesting if you don't know about this stuff, isn't it? They do that after they film. They muck about with the colours.
Yeah, but those decisions will have been made at the costume stage, the set decoration and set design stage. The team will have decided that they want lurid colours. They want the colours of sort of gothic and horror. And if you look at many of these series, even a yellow will be a really rich yellow rather than a sort of faint or.
They do so much with the clothes in this series as well. Shout out to the costume designers, because Villanelle's clothes, and Sandra Oh's actually, Villanelle's clothes, you get excited. She comes into a new scene and that charisma that she has. Like when she came back into the hotel and she had the silver pants and the black jacket.
And I'm never usually smitten with a show. I keep watching the show. It's the first time I've ever watched a show and said to Nadia, bloody hell, I like that table.
I know, the design,
so the set design is really rich and well observed. I really like that. So I just thought this episode was great. So, clearly she's laying the landmines in Eve's life with her husband. So we know that that's under sabotage. We've got all this stuff going on with Sandra Oh and this lipstick. What was the lipstick bit?
Well, it's just Eve letting her know,
Villanelle
knowing Eve know that she's everywhere she is.
I like that, a lipstick with a blade in it.
But she's also seducing her the whole time.
They're seducing each other.
And yes, Sandra Oh eventually uses the lipstick, and who would use the lipstick dropped by a psychopath unless you're a bit S&M yourself? Yeah. And so we got the initial shit, I've cut my mouth open with this blade, but then we got the sort of erotic sort of moment. So they're playing with us.
And then there were 2 scenes that I just want to home in on. There was Fiona Shaw telling Eve off, where she said, I just love this line. She said, I have hobbies.
No. The first thing she said, now, I'm not going to show you I'm angry, because when I'm angry it makes me sleepy. But be rest assured, everything that I'm saying now, I'm very, very angry. Sandra, don't ever cross me again. I loved it. But then and then she yawned
but before that she had a line which said, I have hobbies, Meaning like she's got so many other things to do with her time. I just thought that was such a hysterical line. I have hobbies. Those hobbies to someone like Fiona Shaw are more important than this madness. You're right. I thought she was absolutely brilliant. But then there was the scene in the hotel where I thought they were going to come face to face.
I had one problem with that scene, if I'm picking hairs.
Yes.
Would the police not have stormed the whole
Every
corridor?
room.
So, by the way, in case you're not in this room, we're just down here, and it went
Totally
on
agree.
and on and on.
It was a bit Doctor Who.
And if you're going to go into magic realism, give us a bit more magic realism, because it was so ludicrous, we couldn't believe in it for a second.
Why didn't the director call the shot through the spy hole?
You
had
kept
her
saying
walking
that
down the
all
corridor,
the
and I
time.
thought the final shot
See
of the
her
show,
through the
see her through the
spy
spy
hole,
hole, distorting her face, hold the shot, end the show.
That was a real problem.
I've got goosebumps from the end I was thinking of.
What was going? And he's going to go through the spy hole.
He's going to go to the spy hole.
He's going to go through the spy hole.
You know, like in Cable Guy, and Jim Carrey was so frightening.
Wouldn't it be great if the director was watching this? That's a really good note.
Honestly, that would have been the place to end the episode, because it would have just kept them out on the corridor. Out on that. Would they? Did they? Could they? And I was expecting. They kept cutting to the side, to the side, to the side. Even I'd have gone for a stylistic shot where you split the screen in half with the door in the middle and them both either side.
Yeah.
Come on. Employ me. Anyway, I thought it was a great episode. I am really enjoying it.
So, can I just ask one question? Mark and I haven't spoken at all about the show, because we never do until we're doing this. Why do we think, in those end scenes, why did Constantine want to warn her? Was he saving her, or did he need her for something?
He wants to... I think he knows he needs her to help him get his family. He wants to use her like a gun.
Well, hang on a minute, though. Is that what you said to her?
No, my sense is that he's corralling her because he knows she's...
This is what I don't understand read the plot. Sandra Oh...
She's a bargaining tool.
Him,
he knows she'll be the bargaining tool with Eve. Eve wants her so badly, he can capture Villanelle and use her as a bargaining tool to find out where his family is.
No, but hang on a minute. Sandra's already given him where his family is.
No, she hasn't given him it, as long as he brings her back.
Yeah, but the thing was, he had her there. He could have just got where she was.
That's true.
And then Villanelle would have been out of the picture.
Maybe he's a real psychopath. Maybe he doesn't want her. Maybe he doesn't want his family.
Well, I don't know what
Maybe
was
it's
going
a double
on.
bluff.
I was really confused by that. But obviously, don't tell us if you know for sure. But
Toy with us.
Yeah, but hypotheticals would be fun.
Yeah.